I was just 11 years old when I first stepped out of Vault 101. Nothing could have prepared me for the journey ahead. The world of Fallout, with its vast wastelands and unforgettable stories, became so much more than just a game to me. Over the years, this franchise has been my saving grace, a constant companion through the darkest chapters of my life. The heartbreak, the triumphs, the tough choices that shape your experience there. Not just elements of a game. They're a reflection of the human condition, a mirror held up to our own struggles, hopes, and resilience. Fallout doesn't just tell stories, it helps us confront our own. And today, I want to take you on a journey through the impact it's had on me and the lessons it holds for all of us. Fallout isn't just a game to me, it's a journey, a reflection, and a world that feels more real than anything I could have imagined stepping out of Vault 101 at 11 years old. It's not just about the post-apocalyptic landscape, the iconic Vault Boy, or even the terrifying rad scorpions. Fallout resonates deeply because it captures the human condition, our choices, our triumphs, and our failures, all in ways that no other game ever really has. Every time I boot it up, I find a little piece of myself in the Wasteland. Fallout's storytelling, though, has always been its greatest weapon. It's not just about the grand narratives, it's the personal, smaller stories that hit the hardest. The quests and choices you make feel like they matter because they hold up a mirror to life's complexity. Take Chaos and Zion from Fallout New Vegas. With the sneering imperialist perk, you can be unrelentingly cruel to the tribals in ways that are shockingly, unapologetically savage. It's wild to see just how far you can push the boundaries of mortality in the Fallout universe. And while I wouldn't choose to be that rude in a real life, the game gives you the freedom to explore paths you'd never take otherwise. Or take the last voyage of the USS Constitution from Fallout 4, where Captain Ironsides, the robotic protector of a pre-war vessel, provides one of my favorite lines of dialogue. During the quest, he says,
"Damn you, Weatherby Savings and Loan!"
There's something so hilariously absurd yet oddly touching about a robot clinging to a forgotten sense of patriotism, firing cannons at raiders, all while dreaming of sailing to the stars. It's these unexpected moments that make Fallout so brilliant. And then, there's Come Fly With Me in Fallout New Vegas. Few quests embody the essence of player choices like this one. Do you kill off the ghouls and just say hell with it? Do you help them and also then deal with the Nightkin in the basement by killing the Nightkin? Or do you help the ghouls and then the Nightkin in the basement, instead of killing them, you just convince them to leave? Every option feels like it matters, and every decision reveals more about who you are as a player. Freedom of choice is Fallout's greatest gift, and New Vegas never ceases to amaze me with how many paths it lays before you. Of course, absurdity has its place too. Beyond the beef in New Vegas, how can I not mention that? The very idea of cannibalistic upper-class elites secretly running a society within the Ultralux is both horrifying and darkly hilarious. But beneath the absurdity lies a moral dilemma. What kind of person are you in this world? Do you expose them? Do you join them? Or let their secret die with you? It's the kind of storytelling that makes you pause and think long after you've left the strip. But guys, if I were to pinpoint my favorite and one questline that left the deepest impact on me, it has to be Dead Money, the Fallout New Vegas DLC. I know, it's infamous for its difficulty. The story is unforgettable. The Sierra Madre Casino, with its hauntingly beautiful ruins and its metaphor for so many things, greed, loss, and learning to let go. Dean Domino, Veracruz, and their tragic connections in Sinclair. Their story is one of love, betrayal, and heartbreak. Dead Money forces you to confront their choices and yours. And let's be honest guys, no one really lets go of the gold bars at the end. But beyond the riches, the theme of letting go stuck with me. Letting go of greed, pain, and the past. When I lost my dad, who was incredibly close, followed by my mom just 2 years later, I turned to Dead Money and Fallout. It wasn't my first time playing it, but after my father passed, I I replayed it for what must have been like the 4th or 5th time, and it just kind of hit me differently. The heartbreak, the deception, and the lingering weight of forgiveness in the DLC mirrored everything I was kind of going through with other things also in my life. Fallout helped me process those emotions in a way I didn't really fully understand at the time. It wasn't just a game for me, honestly. It was kind of like therapy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Many of you guys and many fans swear by Old World Blues, and I absolutely love its humor and its brilliance too, but for me, it's the personal experience of Dead Money that sets it apart. The love, the heartbreak, and the bittersweet themes of forgiveness speak to me on a level that no other story in Fallout, or really any other game, ever has. Fallout doesn't just tell stories. It connects with the pieces of ourselves we sometimes try to bury. In the Wasteland, I found healing, growth, and a way to move forward. That's why I love Fallout. It's not just a game, it's part of my journey. Fallout is more than a game, guys. It's a mirror held up to humanity, our choices, our flaws, and our resilience. Whether you're stepping out of Vault 101 for the first time, wandering the Mojave under the unforgiving sun, or scouring the ruins of Boston, Fallout doesn't just entertain. It forces you to confront the complexities of life, mortality, and the human condition. What makes Fallout special is its ability to take the absurd, the tragic, and the beautiful and weave them into experiences that make you feel something real. One of the most striking aspects of Fallout is its unflinching look at human nature. The series strips away the comforts of modern life, leaving only survival, ambition, and desperation. And yet, it's in this broken world that Fallout reveals humanity at its rawest and most honest. You meet people who've lost everything and still find reasons to fight. You see factions trying to rebuild society, each with their own flawed vision for a better future. You encounter individuals clinging to hope, even when hope seems impossible. Take, for example, the Brotherhood of Steel. Their obsession with hoarding technology at all costs can come across as selfish, even cruel. But dig deeper, and you realize they're not just about greed or power. They're driven by fear. Fear of humanity repeating the mistakes of the past. It's a fear we can all relate to. The fear of losing what matters most. The fear of history repeating itself. Fallout doesn't ask you to agree with the Brotherhood, but it forces you to understand them. And in understanding, you find empathy. Or look at the ghouls. Human beings twisted by radiation. Their bodies decayed, but their minds intact. Ghouls are a walking tragedy, a reminder of what it means to lose everything that once made you feel human. Yet, some ghouls, like Raoul in New Vegas or Hancock in Fallout 4, rise above their suffering and become sources of wisdom, humor, and hope. Their stories are a testament to resilience, to finding purpose even when life has stripped you of everything else. They remind us that no matter how broken we feel, we're still capable of making an impact, of choosing who we want to be. And then, there's Come Fly With Me in Fallout New Vegas. Helping the ghouls launch their spaceship might seem absurd at first, but it's a story about faith, dreams, and redemption. Whether you help them achieve their goal, or bring their misguided mission to an end, the quest forces you to grapple with what it means to believe in something greater than yourself, even when the world tells you it's foolish. Fallout also excels at capturing the weight of choices. Every decision feels heavy, because it's not just about right or wrong, it's about perspective. In Fallout, you rarely find purely good or evil paths. Instead, you're forced to navigate shades of gray, and your choices often come with unintended consequences. For example, siding with the NCR in New Vegas might seem noble. They're trying to restore order after all. But then you see the cracks in their bureaucracy, the corruption that seeps into their ranks, and the people they trample in their pursuit of power. Are they truly the good guys, or just another imperfect system trying to impose its will on the world? This moral ambiguity is what makes Fallout so powerful. It doesn't tell you how to think or what to believe. It lets you decide for yourself. It respects your intelligence and trusts you to wrestle with the complexities of the world it presents, and in doing so, it makes you more empathetic, more thoughtful, and more aware of the choices you make in your own life. But beyond the choices and the moral dilemmas, Fallout resonates on a deeply emotional level. It's the moments of quiet humanity that hit the hardest. Think of Boone from New Vegas, a man haunted by the loss of his wife, consumed by guilt and revenge. His story isn't just a side quest, it's a reflection of grief, of the ways trauma can shape us. Now guys, think of Nick Valentine in Fallout 4, a synth with the memories of a human detective. He's a character who embodies a question of identity. Are we defined by our past, our actions, or something deeper? Fallout doesn't just give you characters. It gives you people who struggle, fail, and try again. People who remind you of yourself, or someone you've known, or someone you might become. And through them, the game teaches you to see the world differently, to find beauty in the broken, and to understand that even in the darkest times, there's always a reason to keep going. And then there's the Wasteland itself, a character in its own right. The desolation of Fallout's world might seem bleak, but it's also breathtakingly beautiful. The crumbling ruins of the old world are a reminder of what was lost, but they're also a canvas for what can be rebuilt. The endless expanse of the Mojave Desert, the eerie glow of the glowing sea, the quiet streets of Good Neighbor. Each location tells a story, not just of destruction, but of resilience, of people finding ways to survive and thrive in the face of unimaginable hardship. This is what Fallout is ultimately about. Survival. Not just in a physical sense, but in an emotional one. It's about holding on to hope, even when everything seems hopeless. It's about finding meaning in a world that's fallen apart. It's about making choices, facing consequences, and learning to live with them. Fallout isn't just a game you play. It's a game you feel. It's a game that stays with you long after you've put the controller down. Its stories and characters linger in your mind like echoes of the Wasteland. That's why everyone should love Fallout, because it is tales of heartbreak and triumph, of despair and hope. It captures what it means to be human, and in doing so, it reminds us that no matter how broken the world or we might be, there's always a reason to keep going, always something worth fighting for, always a light in the darkness. Fallout isn't just about scavenging bottle caps and dodging death claws. It's a franchise brimming with lessons that speak to the heart of the human experience. Beneath the post-apocalyptic chaos lies a treasure trove of wisdom, offering players a chance to reflect on what it means to live, thrive, and endure. Fallout doesn't preach, but it shows. It lets its world and characters reveal hard truths and subtle insights, giving players the freedom to draw their own conclusions. One of the most profound lessons Fallout imparts is the power of resilience. From vault dwellers to wasteland wanderers, every survivor in the Fallout universe is proof that the human spirit can endure even the harshest conditions. The Wasteland is unforgiving, but it's also a place of possibility. It challenges you to adapt, to push forward when the odds are stacked against you. The choices you make often mirror the real struggles of perseverance. Do you hoard supplies for yourself, or share them with those in need? Do you rebuild, or leave the ruins to crumble? Fallout teaches us that survival is more than a physical act. It's an act of willpower, of determination to rise above despair. And yet, Fallout isn't just about survival. It's about growth. The franchise thrives on moments of personal transformation, both for its characters and its players. Consider the karma system in earlier games. It's not a rigid mortality meter. It's a reflection of your actions shaping the world around you. Fallout reminds us that our choices, big or small, ripple outward. It's a lesson in accountability, showing us that even in a world gone mad, our actions still matter. But perhaps one of Fallout's most striking lessons is its critique of power. The series is a masterclass in exploring how authority can be wielded and abused, whether it's Caesar's Legion, the NCR, or the Enclave. Fallout presents us with factions driven by their own visions of order. Some seek control through fear, others through bureaucracy, and some through sheer might. And yet, the game repeatedly asks, is their vision worth the cost? Fallout doesn't give you easy answers, but it does pose the question, what would you sacrifice to build a better world? And is better even the same for everyone? Fallout also teaches us to look beyond the surface. The Wasteland is filled with moments that challenge your assumptions. A ghoul and good neighbor might seem grotesque, but they're often more human than the well-dressed settlers of Diamond City. A band of raiders might be ruthless, but their backstory could reveal desperation born from a system that failed them. Fallout is a reminder that people and situations are rarely what they seem. It encourages empathy, the kind of deep understanding that comes from listening instead of judging. Another powerful theme Fallout explores is the duality of progress and hubris. The pre-war world of Fallout was a marvel of technological achievement, yet it collapsed under the weight of its own arrogance. The nuclear devastation is a sobering reminder of what happens when ambition outpaces wisdom. Fallout asks us to consider the cost of unchecked progress and challenges us to envision a future where innovation is balanced with caution. It's a cautionary tale, yes, but also a call to be better stewards of the world and its resources. At its heart, Fallout is also about connection. In the ruins of the old world, bonds between individuals become a lifeline. Companions like Veronica, Dogmeat, and Boone don't just join you for the journey, they enrich it. They remind us that even in isolation, even in the Wasteland, we're not truly alone. The game's emphasis on relationships, be they alliances, friendships, or rivalries, drives home the importance of community. Fallout teaches us that the people we choose to surround ourselves with can shape the journey just as much as the choices we make. And then there's the theme of hope. Fallout's world is bleak, but it's never without hope. The settlements that rise from the ashes, the families that rebuilt their lives, the moments of kindness between strangers, they all remind us that even in the darkest times, light persists. Fallout teaches us that hope isn't about ignoring reality. It's about finding a reason to move forward, no matter how hard the road ahead may seem. And ultimately, Fallout's greatest lesson is this: life is a series of choices. It's messy, unpredictable, and often it's unfair. But it's also beautiful, filled with moments of joy, discovery, and redemption. Fallout encourages us to embrace the journey, to learn from our mistakes, and to keep going even when the odds feel insurmountable, because in the end, it's not about reaching the destination, it's about who we become along the way. In times of darkness, we often seek solace wherever we can find it. For some, it's in the pages of a book. For others, it's in the embrace of music. For me, and perhaps for many others, it was in the desolate yet strangely comforting world of Fallout. It might seem counterintuitive that a game set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland could offer any form of healing, but Fallout is no ordinary game. It's a tapestry of stories, emotions, and experiences that touch the very core of what it means to be human. When I lost my father, and shortly after, my mother, I was engulfed in a whirlwind of grief and confusion. The world seemed bleak, and I felt untethered, searching for something to anchor me. In those moments, I turned to Fallout, not as an escape, but as a place to process my emotions. The Wasteland mirrored my internal landscape, broken, uncertain, and filled with the remnants of what once was. But within that brokenness, I found threads of hope and resilience. The characters in Fallout aren't just NPCs. They're representations of the myriad ways people cope with loss and hardship. Take Christine Royce from the Dead Money DLC in Fallout New Vegas, mute and scared. She navigates the treacherous Sierra Madre casino with a determination that resonates deeply with me. Her journey isn't just about survival. It's about reclaiming agency in a world that has taken so much from her. Christine's strength in the face of adversity became a source of inspiration for me. A reminder that even when we feel voiceless, we still have the power to shape our destiny. Then there's the theme of letting go. So poignantly explored in Dead Money. The elusive treasure of the Sierra Madre is a metaphor for things we cling to. Grief, anger, regret, that ultimately weigh us down. Father Elijah's obsession with the casino's riches led him to ruin, illustrating how holding on to the past can prevent us from moving forward. This narrative encouraged me to confront my own grief, to acknowledge it, and also to understand the importance of not letting it consume me. Fallout's world also provides a unique space for reflection. Wandering the Wasteland, I often found myself pausing to watch a distant sunset or listening to the haunting strains of violin on Galaxy News Radio. These quiet moments allowed me to process my emotions without the overwhelming pressures of the real world. The solitude of the game became a sanctuary, a place where I could feel without judgment. Moreover, the game's emphasis on choices and consequences helped me regain a sense of control. In a time when so much felt beyond my influence, making decisions, whether to help a settlement, to forgive a character who had wronged me, or to walk a solitary path, reminded me that I still had agency. Each choice, no matter how small, was a step toward healing. Fallout also fosters a sense of connection. Engaging with the stories of companions like Boone, who grapples with his own devastating loss, made me feel less alone in my grief. His struggle to find purpose after tragedy mirrored my own, and his eventual path towards redemption offered hope that I too could find my own way. The game's community, both within the game and among its players, further amplified this healing effect, sharing experiences, theories, and even mods with other fans created a network of support. It was comforting to know that others found similar solace in the game, and together we formed a bond that transcended the screen. It's important though to acknowledge that while a game like Fallout can offer comfort, it's not a substitute for professional help when dealing with profound grief or mental health challenges. However, it can be a valuable tool in the healing process. By providing a space to explore emotions, confront inner demons, and find moments of peace, Fallout became more than entertainment. It became a lifeline for me. And in the end, the question isn't whether Fallout can be healing for the soul, but how it achieves this. Through its rich narratives, complex characters, and immersive world, the game invites us to engage with our own stories. It encourages us to face our pain, to seek connection, and to believe in the possibility of a brighter tomorrow, even when the world seems irreparably broken. For me, and perhaps for many others, Fallout was a beacon in the darkness. It didn't fix everything, but it offered a path forward, one step at a time, and sometimes that's all we need. A reminder that even in the wasteland, life finds a way. Let's take a step back and ask the big question. Am I overreacting to Fallout? I mean, it's a video game, guys. Pixels, code, and some voice acting. So why does it feel like I've spent more time thinking about the moral weight of my decisions in Fallout than I have about what to eat for dinner? And that's actually saying some, guys, because I'm not big per se, but I take food seriously. But maybe I am taking it a little far after all. I've definitely caught myself having philosophical debates in my head about whether Megaton was better off blown to smithereens or left standing. And yes, I might have replayed Dead Money for the 5th time just to feel that bittersweet satisfaction of its ending, callers and all. But that's the beauty of Fallout. It doesn't just give you a game, it hands you a mirror. A very cracked, radioactive mirror, sure, but a mirror nonetheless. It asks, who are you, and what would you do if the world fell apart? Now let's talk about the time commitment. Fallout isn't a casual fling. It's a full-blown relationship. You don't just dip your toes into the wasteland, you dive head first. And before you know it, you've spent an entire Saturday looting abandoned buildings and hoarding Wonder Glue like it's the key to survival. Is that overreacting? Or is it just dedication? Then, there's the emotional side. Fallout isn't afraid to tug at your heartstrings, even in the smallest ways. Like the time you stumble across a skeleton clutching a teddy bear in a ruined house, and suddenly you're thinking about all the stories that ended when the bombs dropped. Or when you help an old man reconnect with his long-lost family, only to realize you've spent an hour getting misty-eyed over pixels on your screen. If that's overreacting, I'll take it, guys, because those moments remind us of what's truly important. But let's be real. Fallout doesn't just make you feel. It also makes you laugh. Where else can you help a group of ghouls launch into space, barter with a talking tree, or fight a robot pirate on a revolutionary warship? It's absurd in the best possible way. And that absurdity is part of what makes it so unforgettable. Sure, I might spend a little too much time chuckling at the ridiculous dialogue options or marveling at the bizarre quests, but isn't that part of the fun? At the end of the day, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I've let Fallout take up a little too much real estate in my brain, but isn't that what great stories are supposed to do? They stick with you. They make you think, laugh, cry, and reflect. Fallout might just be a game, but it's also a reflection of the messy, beautiful, complicated human experience. And if caring deeply about that is overreacting, I say bring it on. So no, I really don't think I'm overreacting. I think I'm exactly reacting just right. Fallout, it makes you feel alive, even in a world that's all but dead. And if that's not worth a little enthusiasm, I really don't know what is. Fallout isn't just about post-apocalyptic survival. It's about the stories we tell, the choices we make, and the themes that resonate with us long after we've logged out. It's a wasteland, yes, but it's also a sprawling classroom, if you're paying attention. Take the concept of choice. Fallout thrives on it. Who do you help? Who do you betray? Do you save a town? Or do you sacrifice it for personal gain? Life might not always hand us such dramatic ultimatums, thankfully, but it's full of smaller choices that shape who we are. Fallout reminds us that our decisions, big or small, leave a rippling effect, and sometimes there's no right answer, just the one we can live with. Then, there's the lesson of resilience. Fallout's world is broken, battered, and scarred. But life goes on. People find ways to rebuild, to adapt, and to survive. The Brotherhood of Steel, the NCR, even the scrappy settlers scrapping by in the Commonwealth, they all embody the human spirit's refusal to quit. It's a reminder that no matter how bad things get, we have the power to push forward. Fallout shows us that strength isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about facing it head on, with duct tape and all. Now, let's talk about community. The factions in Fallout are often reflections of real-world ideologies. From the collectivism of the followers of the apocalypse to the authoritarianism of Caesar's Legion. They're flawed, sure, but they also show the power of people coming together. Sometimes for good, sometimes for ill. It's a stark reminder that we're stronger when we stand together. But that unity requires compromise, understanding, and often sacrifice. Now, what about redemption? Fallout is packed with characters seeking second chances. Take Boone, grappling with the loss of his wife, or Arcade Gannon, torn between loyalty to his ideals and the need for action. These stories hit close to home because they remind us that it's never too late to change, to seek forgiveness, or to strive for something better. Fallout whispers, you can do better. You can do better. Then, there's also a sobering message about hubris. The Great War, the Vault experiments, the mistakes of leaders like Mr. House and the Enclave, they're all cautionary tales about the dangers of arrogance and unchecked ambition. Fallout warns us that when we play God, we often end up creating monsters, literally and figuratively. It's a call to humanity, a reminder that progress should never come at the cost of humanity. And finally, there's the theme of hope. It's subtle, but it's there, tucked between the rubble and radiation. Whether it's a scavenger planting crops, a scientist trying to cure radiation sickness, or a lone wanderer offering a kind word to a stranger. Fallout shows us that even in the darkest times, there's a glimmer of light. It's a testament to the fact that no matter how dire things seem, there's always a reason to keep going. So, what does Fallout teach us about life? It teaches us that it's messy, it's complicated, and sometimes it's downright unfair. But it's also beautiful, full of choices. It's got some growth in there, and moments of unexpected grace. The Wasteland is harsh, but it's also hopeful. And maybe that's the greatest lesson of all. Even when the world feels like it's falling apart, we can find meaning, connection, and purpose in the rubble. The Wasteland has a strange way of teaching us that things are not always what they seem. They are what we perceive them to be. Think about the Wasteland itself, a place of death, destruction, and despair on the surface. Yet somehow, we see beauty in its barren landscapes, hope in its battered survivors, and meaning in its shattered world. Fallout is a masterclass in reframing, teaching us to find purpose even in the ashes. It's the same in life. Take a moment from Fallout. Maybe you're dodging death claws with nothing but a knife and a prayer, or trying to defuse a ticking collar while the clock runs down. It's tense, nerve-wracking, and maybe even frustrating, but when you overcome it, that's when you feel alive. Now imagine that same intensity, but instead of playing Fallout, you're stuck in traffic, sweating bullets. It's miserable, right? But what's the difference? It's not the situation. It's how you frame it. Fallout teaches us that we can take life's chaos, reframe it, and turn it into an adventure. There's a quote that I always listen to every once in a while and read. It comes to mind to me, and here it is. Sometimes you just want to stand in the corner and stare out the window. The problem is, when you're not smoking and staring out of the window, you're an antisocial, friendless idiot. But if you stand and stare out of the window with a cigarette, you're a philosopher. Framing is everything, guys. It's about choosing to see the beauty in the chaos, the opportunity in the struggle, and the lesson in the failure. Fallout does that for us. It makes scavenging for a can of cram feel like a quest for survival. It turns moral dilemmas into opportunities for reflection. It makes us laugh at absurdities and cry over pixels because the stories remind us of our own humanity. It frames the end of the world not as a loss, but as a chance to rebuild. So here's my challenge to you guys. Frame your life like it's Fallout. Find the adventure in the mundane. See your struggles as a side quest. Embrace the chaos as part of the story. And remember, just like in Fallout, you're the protagonist of your own journey. The Wasteland might not be kind, but it's yours to explore, conquer, and shape. Thank you guys for taking this journey with me. If Fallout has resonated with you, if it's helped you in any way or inspired you, let me know in the comments and share your story down below. I would love to hear how it's helped you guys like it's helped me. And if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like. It's a small thing, but it helps more people discover the shared love for Fallout and its lessons. Let's keep exploring the Wasteland together, guys. Stay strong out there, stay curious, and never stop wandering. Corn out.